Thank you, Abdullah, and good afternoon. So I'd like to first talk about our Best Paper Award competition, which took place during 2024. We had tried to invite our, I'm struggling again with, here we go. We had tried to invite the winners to come here, but they couldn't make it, and so there was time in the program for them to present the results of their best papers. So we will just go through a couple of highlights. So the call for best paper was for causal research in investments. That was what the topic was. And this was an award that had a prize pool of $100,000 associated with it. That was then distributed between the top 3 winners. We had an online ceremony during the year. And here are some details more about the award. So the questions that were listed here were the ones that we asked our submitters to address, and we had a total of 35 papers that were submitted, which was quite remarkable. There was a first pass of the review process that was handled by experts in ADIA. They down selected to about a dozen papers who went into the finals. Then we had all the finalists giving verbal presentation on the internet, and they were reviewed then by our final review panel. And so I'd like to thank our advisory board members, Miguel Hernan and Guido Imbens, for being reviewers, as well as 3 others. And so based on this very thorough review process, we had selected the following top 3 winners. The third praise went to Alexander Denev and Olaf Laudy. The second one went to this group of 3, Nurkaina Ayun Siddiq and Frederick Eberhard at Cornell University. And the number 1 went to Kevin Webster and Nicholas Westray. And since you're interested in what they've been doing, here are sort of 2-line summaries, not necessarily abstracts, on the 3 winning proposals. And I think that Marcos will comment from his perspective and from ADIA's perspective on how that tied into with the quantitative research at ADIA. And it was actually a very remarkable competition. And I am not an expert in the field, but I listened to the presentations, and I was very, very happy to see how much enthusiasm we were able to generate in this community and how many creative new ideas we were able to elicit there. So what I really want to encourage you is to think about this year's competition. And so I know it's end of the year, but the deadline is December 31st. And this year's competition is on data science in climate. And it's the same journal parameters, $100,000 prize pool for papers that have used data science, algorithms, AI, visualizations maybe, to make advances in climate science. And we will go through the same process in terms of review. And I think we have about a dozen submissions already, which is pretty good, because we know when in all these competitions, most papers arrive on the day before the deadline or the day of the deadline, and many on the day after the deadline. So since we have already a dozen papers, I expect a very big interest in this competition. But after you had listened to some presentations this week on sustainability, please consider your work. And we accept also already published papers. They must have been just published within, I think, the last year. And so don't just think of new work, but think about something that you have done recently. So the website for submissions and detailed instruction is listed there. So with this, I would say thank you to all the participants in the collaborations. Congratulations to Nicholas Westray and Kevin Webster, who are based in New York at NYU and at a New York Finance Bank. I forget where one of them is, but that was interesting that we got actually quite a number of submissions from non-academic researchers. So with that, I would like to turn it over to Marcus and the actual announcement of the current competition. So this one is just something that happened in 24, and we had hoped to have a speaker to talk about, but it's unfortunately didn't work out with Nick Westray for travel. Thanks.